any anecdotes with John that you want to share with us?
Well, there was a time when I was meant to be playing in Suicide Sports Club. It was at Fabric, and it was our first gig. And I forgot about the time, and I was getting drunk on my own with some fans in a pub.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I hear this, "Luke, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Come and grab me," and like pulled me onto stage. Like the pub was next door to Fabric, luckily, and he's dragged me. But many a times he's kind of many a times he's caught me like not being where I should be, and I was constantly in trouble with him. So yeah, but as far as other anecdotes, like the ones I can't really say. So,
The headmaster at the workout. Hola gente, ¿cómo están? Una vez más, bienvenidos a Track ID. Junto a mí está mi querido compadre
Mapiu, bienvenidos a un episodio más de Track ID y yo estoy emocionadísimo. Solamente les puedo decir, el hook del día de hoy es It's gonna be a lovely day for you and me, just wait and see.
Oye,
just wait and see.
Y exactamente, ¿sabes por qué traigo esta playera?
Yo sí sé, pero
Es una playera de Bedrock, para los que no alcanzan a ver, de la disquera de JD. Y hoy vamos a entrevistar a la persona y al productor que más tracks tiene firmados en Bedrock. Además de tener 1000 tracks en todos lados, es una institución. La verdad, hemos seguido su música pues desde que estábamos tocando hace 20 y tantos años.
Más de 20 años
tocamos su
escuchando
música y estamos muy felices de tener en el estudio a
Luke Brancacho.
What's up,
Hi,
Luke?
guys.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thank you.
No. We are super psyched, man. We are super excited that we finally have the chance to talk to you. We are incredibly honored to have such a talent of your stature here at the studio with us. I know you have myriads of stories, anecdotes, chats, and everything about you, everything that you've done in your career. And I hope that the people at Track ID will cherish this episode as one of the highlights on the channel.
Totally agree with you, Pepe, because we are following your steps for maybe more than 20 years. So welcome.
Thank you. Let's not say how long you've been following me for.
So we just found you yesterday on Beatport. So welcome. Okay, perfect. Look, so let's dive into the meat and potatoes. Oh, you have an extensive career. I mean, tracks here and there, and it's an amazing repertoire of music. So please guide our audience a little bit on your beginnings, how you started making music, how you transitioned to kind of guitar band to the music that you're doing now. Please tell us.
Well, I started off listening to kind of hip hop a lot, and it was actually all I listened to. And then I lived in a house with 4 other people, and they just played dance music all the time. And I hated it at first, but after a while, they broke me down. And then I heard a few tracks that they were playing, which one was Not Forgotten by Left Field, one was Windows by Seal, and I was like, oh, I quite like that. And then after that, I kind of started getting my own taste in it, and I got hooked. And that was early 90s.
Okay.
93, like no, earlier than that, like early 90s.
Okay. And your music background. So a little bit on the music background. So you said that you listened a lot to hip hop. What was your the music that you were listening at the time? Also, what would your the music that gave you the chill, the bumps at the time?
The hip hop stuff,
everything, or the music that you liked at the time. Yeah.
So before I was listening to lots of Timbaland and Dre and stuff, but then the music that gave me the bumps was like Gat Decor, Not Passion, and Left Field, Not Forgotten, and and like Windows, but still lots of Guerrilla Records. Guerrilla Records used to have an office around the corner from where I was living. Because my mother also used to she used to work for Island Records, and so I was like brought up with music all the time. But then Guerrilla Records had an office around the corner, and I used to be a weird kid that used to go and just sit in the office, and they'd go, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "Nothing, just hanging out." And then they just got bored of me and then just let me just hang out in the office, and then I got to know everybody through that. So
perfect.
Suicide Sports Club.
Yes.
I've got really surprised when I noticed that you were part of that project.
I was the lead singer on that. Yeah.
How was it? How was the transition between the rock and the electronic music? Because in my personal experience, I used to play a lot of that Ghost in Town remix from you, and the people just went crazy when I just played that track in my sets.
People went apeshit with that.
But now, what happened with that transition?
Well, what happened? I was already signed to Bedrock doing dance music before then. So like the start of it was I was DJing, and one of the Faithless bunch, from like Rollo and all of that lot. They put me in. They saw me DJ. They put me in a studio with Bruce Asher and Gertz, their engineer, and I ended up doing music from that. And then we got signed to Bedrock. Like, I'm cutting out loads of bits here, but we got signed to Bedrock. And then John Digweed, after the Lovely Day, I think it was, we were like, we want to do something different. So we did this electronic rock kind of crossover. And I'm actually singing the lyrics on Last Ghost in Town as well. So I was the lead singer of the band, but not a very good singer. But it was, it was a really good, fun time. We were the front cover of every magazine, DJ magazine, and we blew up. We were like embedded on the first Nokia phone. Last Ghost in Town was the original. When you bought the Nokia phone, it was on the phone when you bought it. Wow. So yeah, I'm showing my age there, but it was crazy. Lots of touring. We toured, we did gigs with Radiohead and Beck and Block Party, and so from being behind the decks to kind of going crazy in front of 30,000 people was, as the front man, it was a bit scary for me, because normally you can hide behind your decks, and you don't have to really lift your head up if you don't want to, if you're not in the mood. But there, you're really vulnerable standing. I think we did 40,000 people was the most we played in front of. So
wow. And okay, now talking about the DJing and be behind the decks, how did you start DJing?
I early 90s, late 80s. I kind of was given like a really dodgy belt-driven turntable. I can't remember what make it was. I had one belt-driven, and then I had one like direct drive, and so it was a real nightmare. And a mixer that hardly worked, and then I kind of collected a few records here and there, and I just kind of forced my way into warm-up gigs, and I used to just beg to play, and I was a real nerd from 9 in the morning to 11 at night, just non-stop be practicing and playing. And then I kind of, and then I got a residency in a really dodgy club. But from that, it was fights breaking out all the time in the clubs. And it was crazy. And then, but then I got another residency through that. And then I just started building up from there.
Great.
Yeah,
and the other thing is that comes into mind that you mentioned as a couple of minutes ago. How was it signing? I mean, Bedrock at the time was starting when you're saying when you're.
We were the sixth release on there.
That's So I can imagine something
White Room.
How was signing to Bedrock, which is right now, in my opinion, one of the coolest and most forward-thinking labels in the world?
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, it was. Well, originally. We would go to Bruce Asher from Brancaccia and Asher. We tried to get into Bedrock several times, and they wouldn't let us in because we were two guys just looking dodgy. Yeah, So they wouldn't let us into the club. So then we would turn up with CDs and everything. They wouldn't let us in. And the third time we went there, they let us in. And I gave a CD to somebody that I was just talking to everybody to try and get my CD to John. And so I gave the CD to this woman who ended up becoming a friend of mine, Sharon, who was John Digweed's assistant at the time, or run Bedrock with him. And she, within 15 minutes, they were playing it on the main dance floor. They were playing it on the main dance floor, like so that was the first time we ever got, that was Darker. And then I would just keep going. And then all of a sudden they signed White Room. And that was our first one. That was number 6 on Bedrock, I think. And from there on in, we were put on the guest list and ended up becoming friends with John. And then he ended up, when I say friends, he's more like a boss, but it's it was and then that's how it started. But at first they wouldn't even let us into the club. The bouncers were just like, who are these two geeks?
You're saying Heaven, right?
Heaven, yeah.
At Heaven, yes.
I was there, and
we managed to be there once.
Amazing club.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Amazing parties.
It's like Warren's, like little kind of, you get lost in there for hours.
I still have the T-shirt that I bought in 2002. I think it was 2001, 2002. I still have that T-shirt, and the most importantly, it still fits. Yeah.
Mine is gone, but because I bought it in 2001, so now it's gone.
I used to kind of go into the Bedrock offices, and they would have like a cupboard with all their merch, and then I just nick everything. So I've got some of the first ever Bedrock T-shirts ever made. Like, it was the first kind of for the label. I've still got them upstairs. They've got holes in them, and they're hanging to pieces, but I won't get rid of them.
No. It's called memorabilia, man. It's the same with mine. Yeah.
Few artists have the privilege of releasing an artist album in Bedrock.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about this?
Well, I've done 2 now. Sorry, carry on.
Okay. No, it's okay. I was thinking about Tokyo Fan Club.
Yeah. So Tokyo Fan Club. So we did Suicide Sports Club originally, but it was on B-Rock. So like he made a new label for the Suicide Sports Club because it was too rocky. But then he was releasing remixes on Bedrock. But with the Tokyo Fan Club thing, that happened because he was doing the Quattro 2 album, maybe Quattro 1 or Quattro 2.
Yeah,
and he had heard
2022,
something like that.
Yeah,
it was one or 2. I can't remember. And I had done a tune with Kiki Cave, who's my wife, and she's the singer on Tokyo Fan Club. And we were really drunk in the kitchen one night, and we did Monsters. That was on the album. And John heard it and wanted it for Quattro. And then he said, look, why don't you do an album for me? And so he asked us from one tune. And then, we spent a year doing that album because we did 10 normal album tunes. And then we did 10 ambient tunes as well. So we did an ambient version of the album as well. So it was a real honor. And out of the blue, it was just, and also it wasn't something I was thinking about doing. It was John was like, you could do an album out of this. John has like a way of subtly suggesting things, and then you go, well, now I'm doing an album. So
artist albums in Bedrock. It's Suicides, Tokyo. But from other artists is Guy J, Pig and Dan, and I'm missing a couple too. So there aren't that many.
You're so nerd.
Yeah, I'm a little nerd in this, a little bit obsessive. Yeah.
It's a privilege and to be asked and not to offer. It was we were asked, and it was and with Suicide Sports Club, it was kind of the same. We were doing a side project, and he heard the side project, and he was like, "Let's do this," So it was. He's really looked after me. John has in the past. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So he really has helped me out over the years. I'm very grateful to him.
pillar of the industry, but no matter what, in every single sense,
Yeah.
as a DJ, as a curator, as a businessman, in terms of how he runs the label, he's always creating new ways to engage the fans with music
Yeah.
formats, merchandising, and everything. It's what John does is amazing, really.
Yeah, it's a
He's
business, man.
amazing. He's amazing. He's a bit like hanging out with the head teacher of a school sometimes. You're always nervous around him.
With the headmaster, yeah.
I still get nervous around him, but he's got a way of like, letting you know you're in trouble. I've been told off by him a few times.
and look, like you mentioned, you were the sixth release, and
Yeah.
if memory serves, you have around 10 to 15 releases on Bedrock, if I'm correct.
I've got about 65 writing credits on Bedrock.
Oh wait, if you go into writing credits on even
Yeah.
more with mixes and everything.
I've released more than I've definitely released more than that. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember, but if you go with both albums one album had 20 releases on it and one had 10. So that's already
If you go
20.
into the mix.
No, one had 20 and one had 10, so it's 30 releases. Then I've done White, I've done White Room, I've done the Brancaccia and Asia stuff, like 4 or 5. I've done like probably 5 or 6 of my own on there with like various other people. So there's a lot. You may not, some may kind of like, for the top of my head, I can't remember. I've done so many, but it's definitely more than 5 or 6. There's lots and lots and lots.
And in this industry, that sometimes the shelf life cannot be as we want it to be in terms of the music that it's being released. How do you and John keep that such a consistent and creative relationship over the past years? I mean, it's unheard of. What you
Yeah,
guys have
I mean, our relationship and all my fault has been up and down. Like when I was kind of younger, I was really badly behaved, and he would have to kind of really rein me in a lot of times, and so and then it came to a point where he said, "Look, until you sort yourself out, then come back to me. But I don't want to have." And then I had a few years away, and then came back, and he was like, "Yeah, as long as you behave yourself, I definitely want you back on." And then it's been fine ever since. I still get us telling off every so often, but it's he's a wonderful person, and we talk. He'll call me up, and we'll just talk about the weirdest things that have nothing to do with music. It's just and we talk for a long, long time. So he's great.
Talking about groove, talking about
Chunky ass low end.
the voice, this hypnotic voice.
It's the loopy F me up voice again.
What the? Wow.
Come on, tell us, Luke. Tell us a bit about this track.
So Faux Play, it was originally, the original is there, but then Guy Barone and I did like 2 years ago or last year or the year before last, did our own mix of it. I was originally meant to be doing it with Beth Hirsch from Air.
Okay.
But she got into an accident, so we ended up getting Kiki to re-sing it. And so then this version it's being re-released the 22nd of May with this mix is Faux Play and myself, and the other mixes, which I can say is Hernan Cantonero. So, but yeah, this I really wanted, when Faux Play came in, I really wanted to do something really acidy and dirty with just percussion and and Faux Play was engineering actually, so, and he's amazing. And then I wanted it to break into something really beautiful, which we've nailed. And then I can't hear it. So.
No, but what about the voice? What kind of process did you use to be repeating with the beats or chopping the voices? What do you do with it?
it's lots of chopping and just putting through effects. And
Wow.
Voplay was a big part of the vocal part. He kind of really went to town. So he went back and he did a lot of that, because we did 2 studio sessions together, and then he's gone in and then we send it back and forth.
No. What did you use for the acid? The acid sounds like
I think it's
I think the
303.
acid, the acid is Diva.
Hey, the acid is
bass-
Diva?
The bass line is Diva. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't got it in front of me, but
Ah,
I'm pretty
really?
sure.
Diva? Using Diva
I
for acid?
remember.
Wow.
I remember we just got the Diva up and then just like did some acidy kind of notes to it, and then just played around with the filters like very slightly. Like you've heard it from 3 minutes in, but when you hear from the beginning, it does nothing for like 2.5, 3 minutes. It's just like every so often.
I thought it was a 303.
No, I thought maybe Arturia has also a great acid. It's called Acid. I don't remember the plugin. It's super great for acid lines, but it sounded kind of like that. But wow, really.
This is crazy. Yeah.
So this is May 22nd on Sudbeat, you're saying?
May 22nd on Music to Die For.
May Sudbeat.
Oh my god! Wow.
No, man, you heard it. All I Need. Fox Play Luke Brancato remix, which is it has to be in your USB stick the minute comes out, and you heard it first only on Track ID, people.
Yeah, first time anyone's heard it.
Any anecdotes with John that you want to share with us?
Well, there was a time when I was meant to be playing in Suicide Sports Club. It was at Fabric, and it was our first gig. And I forgot about the time, and I was getting drunk on my own with some fans in a pub.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I hear this, "Luke, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Come and grab me," and like pulled me onto stage. Like the pub was next door to Fabric, luckily, and he's dragged me. But many a times he's kind of. Many a times he's caught me like not being where I should be, and I was constantly in trouble with him. So yeah, but as far as other anecdotes, like the ones I can't really say. So,
the headmaster at the workout.
Yeah,
get on.
But
boy.
he is. It's like tour, like going on holiday with a school teacher sometimes. But but he's always right. I'm always in the wrong. It's completely my fault.
That's a good one. Well, Guy Barone, Simon Barry are the names of people you were extensively working with.
Yeah.
When you're choosing a collaborator, are you looking for someone who shares the exact taste, or someone who challenged your perspective at the studio?
I always, like with Simon Barry, it was like I always choose to work with people that are better than me, or I think are better than me. So, and that will always push me as well. With Simon Barry, I met him at a party at my wife's before I was married to her, at her house, and we ended up like talking about music. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. And then like 2 days later, someone's told each of us who each other was. And we ended up doing about 5 or 6 tunes together. And with Guy Barone, I was with Simon Barry, and we were listening to Patrice Baumel's Essential mix on Pete Tong. And we heard this tune, and I was like, wow, what's this? This is amazing. And Simon Barry, who had worked with Guy, went, that sounds like Guy Barone. And then I instantly got the number from Simon, and I texted him saying, I want to work with you. And Guy was like making a bit kind of different music at that time, I think a slightly more trancey stuff, and wanted to kind of get into kind of more progressive stuff. So we kind of helped each other out there, where he's like, Guy Barone is something different. He's a pure, natural talent. And when he plays, you can hear the emotion that he brings to something. It's not just playing the piano. I can play the piano badly, and but with no emotion. But I'm just struggling to get the keys, and he's just, in another world, just kind of creating amazing, beautiful compositions.
Oh, he's a talent.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's
we
totally-
we really
He's
love
also
his
one of the
production.
sweetest, loveliest people ever. Hasn't got a bad bone in his body. He's like really kind of, I'm just in your face, and Guy's like really shy and reserved. So
Mi amigo guy, exact. We've been in contact with him.
yeah, he's amazing.
And look, now what did you say with all this history when you started '90s and you started in the '90s DJing and producing later on? Which piece of music you say had the most influence on you? It's a piece of music that you heard and you said, "This is it. This is a game changer in my life."
Well, I mean, there's different, like the one tune that will always gets me is Brian Eno 1-1 on Music for Airports.
The airports, correct.
And that, I got chills, like my hair's just stood on end thinking about it. And that, even though it's not necessarily well, it is electronic, but it just changed my kind of perception on what kind of music I want to make. Not just kind of all big noises, and something more emotive and lovely and beautiful. And that really changed the way I look at music, because that's just like it's like 4 or 5 notes just repeated for like, I think, 15 minutes, just changing slightly. Every other note is slightly differently played. And it was like, good God, you can do something like, you don't have to have tons of like layers. You can just have one thing, just slowly evolving over a time. So that's also why I use very little tracks. I heard Foplay talk about it the other day, where I only use probably between 14 and 25 tracks max. Never, I haven't got less than 14. But that Brian Eno tune really changed the way I look at making music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's an institution. I mean, he's
The whole album, Music for Airports, is
Airport is
one of the best albums ever made. So
it's
Absolutely.
an amazing piece. It's an amazing piece.
I actually listen to it. If I'm ever feeling anxious or whatever, I will put that on and go to sleep listening to it, and it really calms you and really gets to you.
It gets you in the zone completely.
I think everybody in this world should be listening this kind of music, because
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Music
Yeah.
for Airports is well, what you can say. It's in the if you mention top 10 ambient records in the world, it's in
Yeah.
the top 2 or the top 3, I guess.
Yeah,
It depends on the mood on the day. but it's-
Absolutely, you can never. But I've literally got chills just talking about it. It's like my hairs are standing up on end. It's just all the music is coming back into my head from it. I haven't heard it for a few months, but
Which
It's,
year is that album?
It's 78
It's
or
something like
77,
that.
no? 78
yeah.
or
I mean,
77.
it's just beyond time and borders. It's just amazing. It's and the fact that like the whole album is just really simple. It's just kind of variations of like the same sound, kind of evolving, or kind of there's a vocal tune at the end, which is just like, I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, 1978, and that guy had all that ideas in his head. Imagine what about today?
I'm going to nerd out again. Did you ever use or did you ever download his iOS app to create ambient music?
No, I haven't even heard
No?
of it. No,
I don't
no.
know if it's still available on the App Store, but what was the name of the app? I
That
forgot.
sounds amazing.
No, you could download and you could start creating Brian Eno music, because he had his delays, he has his reverbs and everything. So you could start playing with notes, and you would see the notes lingering, and you could add something else, and then you could just create ambient soundscapes in your phone. I think
Yours-
that came out like 10 years ago.
You're starting to be so nerd. So let's start with
The nerd section.
nerd section, and we're going to talk about your setup at your studio. Tell us about it, please.
What have I got? I've got like everybody's got. I got a Subsequent 37.
Okay.
I've got a Nord Summit,
Okay.
and I've got a 303, and I have a ton of other stuff. But I put them all away. But I'm at the moment just I kind of fall in love with a synthesizer, and then I kind of just cane the shit out of that synthesizer
Okay.
for like a good couple of years, and then I get bored, and then I'll move on to something else.
You have to
But
make best bang for the buck for the synthesizer. Yes.
yeah, but I've been like just recently I've got it back into kind of creating loads of my own sounds on there and saving them. So I'll spend like, this is so nerdy. I'll spend like I've got my wife. My wife's next door, and like, what are you doing? And it's just like, like just
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Don't worry.
and I've got like I did like about 30 new sounds over a weekend, and so it keeps me out of trouble, keeps me from going partying. But it's but yeah, it's you feel a bit weird at the end of the weekend when it's just like all you've been doing. You haven't even listened to a kick drum. It's just weird, kind of just
I
weird
can
stuff.
see a vocals behind you.
The Alpha 80s.
Yeah,
No?
I think.
I bought those yesterday actually.
Oh
Wow.
Breaking
I-
period, man. Breaking period. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like they're just for my DJ setup. I just bought the new 3000Xs, and I bought a V10 just a few months ago. So
Okay.
I've got like the dream setup that most people kind of wish for.
So
But
how do you feel about the 3000Xs?
they're great. I mean, I
yeah.
hadn't. They're getting a hard time because there wasn't much difference between the 3000s and them. But I didn't have the 3000s. I skipped the 3000s. So going from the earlier version to this
Yeah, the
was
2000s from that.
amazing. Yeah, well, it was
Night and day.
amazing. I mean, like they're unbelievably good, and the
Yeah,
stuff
yes.
you can do on them that you can't do on anything else is just unbelievable. And I did miss out. Of course, I played on 3000s, but I've never had a set of my own. So the
Okay.
jump, like having the jump on, to these was amazing. And the V10 is incredible. I had Anthony Papa came and stayed with me. He stayed with me for like 15 days. He was like back and forth over a month, but would come and stay with me. And he was teaching me how to kind of use it, watching. I just wanted to give up watching him, actually, to
No,
be fair.
it's amazing. I mean, because not many people use it, but you can. The best thing of it is when you route one of the send effects
Yeah, I've
into
got it
one of the
done.
other channels. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
creative possibilities are. I mean, you can tweak that sound, affect that sound, and it just becomes a sonic assault. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's unbelievable bit of kit, and I'm still kind of like, because it's like playing on new instruments. With the V10 is not like any normal mixer,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
the 3000s compared to anything before it, well, not the 3000Xs compared to everything before it, not the 3000s, are like a new like instrument as well. So it's like a learning curve. I've kind of only done one mix on them that I've let out so far, because I'm still kind of I'm the kind of person that I need to know what every single little thing does before
performing. Yeah.
before I start kind of going crazy and like filming myself doing it. So
Uh,
I've still got a couple of months, I think, before I do a live on them, but I'm getting there.
Parenthesis, did you record the last Celador podcast on those?
Yeah. I've actually got
Okay.
video of it as well. So it was I did a lot of editing in before. I like did some edits of tunes so they fit perfectly, and then I mixed them on the V10.
Oh, he has some amazing edits on that one. Yeah, that the Bjork cover, and I
That's
forgot.
great.
I think it's one of the first 4 tracks. I forgot the name. I
All
think
is
it's one
Full
of
of
the
Love.
air. Yeah, no, it all is full of love. Yeah, and then you have an air bootleg also there.
Yeah, I mean, all I need. That's me. That's mine and 4Play's remix of it.
So freaking good, man! I was like, where the hell is this? And I was just looking at track ID, like, okay.
Actually, this is the first time anyone knows it's us, because John Digweed had it. He's the only DJ that had it, and he's been playing it, and everyone's been going crazy. And people have been emailing me like saying, "Is this you? Is this you?" And I've said, "No, no, no." So this is the first time. This is an exclusive. So
Oh, yeah.
No, it is so freaking good. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
this is what is that area? No, it's just the vocals. Then the group keeps going, and no. So I'll play it to you later on. So good. Heard
Yeah,
it last
I've
weekend.
I sent you a copy. But
Thanks.
that's what I was having trouble with earlier on today, because we were like at the kick drum and we're getting it mastered, and her can I say this? Yeah, I could say this. Hernan Cantanero is doing the other remix of it as well. So it'll be coming out on Music to Die For on the 22nd of May.
22nd of May, yeah, exclusive.
Okay.
Exclusive, people.
And diving in your studio, what's in the box? What kind of DAW you like to use?
I use Logic, and I use Logic. Let me get it up actually, so while we're talking about it, because I kind of forget everything. I use Logic. I used to use Cubase, but I find Logic a lot more. Well, I'm just used to it now. So, and it's like, I think the quality that comes out of Logic is great. I would have liked to kind of learn Ableton, but I'm just too old. I'm too old to learn new stuff. It's like
I do use Ableton, and I want to get into Logic, but it's just getting into do everything that you already know how to do in Ableton. It's impossible now.
You're gonna love it. Yeah,
I know.
Logic is amazing.
Yeah.
Who told us that he used to do Rewire? Who was it? Was Ranch?
I think no. I think it was Nick Stoyanov.
It was Nick Stoyanov. Yeah,
Nick
Stoyanov.
He's great. He's great.
He got a great interview, and we keep in touch a lot with him. Yeah,
right.
So
I use Logic, and then my go-to instruments are kind of like Pigments from Arturia, and I like and Diva I use a lot.
Diva,
yeah. I like I've got this new thing called Sky Keys, which is more of a sample pack, but it's amazing. There's a thing that I've got that is really, really amazing, and it's the Pulsar Modular, the P900, and that's kind of the nearest soft synth. It's very expensive. I think it's like 400 or 500 quid. But like for a soft synth, it's very expensive. But it's the closest to like a Moog or like a a bit of like a proper hardware. Is like the nearest soft synth to hardware that I've ever used.
Can you repeat the name again?
It's the Pulsar Modular, and it's the P900.
P900. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It's amazing. It's
like
amazing.
We should start charging Yuhi royalties, because everybody says that Diva is in their top. In their top substance. Yeah.
Diva is just amazing, and then there's loads of stuff like the obvious kind of stuff like the Prophets and and Atlas and stuff like that. So yeah.
Again, this acid feeling with evilness in this.
Dirty.
I love this kind of sound. It's contundent. Whoa! Wow!
Boom.
Okay. I really need to know the name of this track. Please look.
This is Dominion 11 Hours. 11 Hours was like an old massive trance tune. I think that was on Lost Language or Hooch Tunes, maybe Lost Language. And Lost Language has just signed it and asked me to remake it. So this comes out in June the 5th, I think. Early June this comes out.
On Hooch on which
on
sounds?
Lost Language, which is
Lost Language, which is
Lost Language.
Yeah. Wow. And tell me that you use Diva again for the bass line.
No, that is a 303.
As a 303, yeah.
Yeah, that is a 303. Yeah.
it sounds with those riff giving a special like trancey groove.
Super the high.
Yeah, it sounds.
Okay, it's really grounded. O sea, it has the trance soul, but it's super grounded.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I kind of recreated the riff that's a little bit simpler than the other one, and then Guy replayed it and has made it kind of. I came up with the sound of the riff, and then kind of like that was very similar to the original, and then Guy has kind of put his magic in it.
Do you think that the trance feeling or trance stuff is coming back again?
Yeah, it's absolutely coming back. I mean, it never really goes away. It kind of just keeps like subtly there, and then like, you know, and I love that's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love a bit of trance.
A bit of trance here and there. It's always beautiful.
I like it slower. So I like it like 123, 125.
Yeah.
And then, because you can get away with the riffs that when you speed it up sound a bit more cheesy. When you slow it down, you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah, I really like it.
But so good.
Only for you guys in Track ID Mexico.
I've read that you use pigments a lot. So
yeah.
Besides that, what are the if you say the top 3 or 4 pieces of hardware software that you use in every single track?
So the P900, the subsequent 37 is in almost every tune I do, and Pigments. Although like Diva and Pigments, so they're the like I get so kind of like caught up in my ways that I just kind of use I use the stuff I love all the time, but I tweak everything. I don't use that many just normal presets. I kind of like to delve into the sound and mess around with the sound. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I know what I like to I know what's coming back from the speakers. So I just twist knobs and see what sounds good.
When you use Pigments, you're gonna love it. Yeah, how you can chain everything and modulate.
Especially the new version of it is great.
I haven't used the new version. I haven't used it yet.
I have one version, but you can't be tweaking like a lot because there is inside I own the V collection, but there is not like the full version of Pigments. So I will try it. I will give it a chance.
Pigments is great. I mean, out of all of those, it's probably at the bottom. It would probably be the P900 and the sub 37 equal, and then the Diva, and then Pigments.
Okay. Your production, I can feel it like kind of atmospheric. There is a wall of sound reminiscent of the 80s synth pop and alternative rock.
Yeah.
How do you layer all your pots and atmospheres without making the mix feel like muddy or cluttered?
Yeah, because there's not much in there. There's drums and like a layer of kind of ambience, and then a big bass line and maybe a stab. So there's only very few elements, especially in the Tokyo Fan Club stuff and stuff like that. There's very few elements. Like mostly it's consisted of like weird kind of like weird one-off hits, and then so it's like in that kind of music there's only probably about less than 10 things sometimes going on, so it's very easy to mix.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah. And say I'm gonna go back to 2025, last year, right?
Yeah.
When we were discussing our tracks of the year, I chose Bedrocking with you and Guy
nice.
as the track of the year. I mean, the minute I heard that, it's like, man,
crazy.
It really still that gives me goosebumps. For example, really. Can you give us a little walkthrough on how did you design the lead? What was it? A single patch? Was a couple of patches or layers? How did you create that with Guy?
Guy Barone came up with the main bit of that. I kind of like came up with the sound. I was like, "Fuck!" We were just like, "Let's do something very repetitive." So it was just like, and something like that was, you know, you would hear on a bedrock floor, like, but late, and when people are kind of really going for it, and it's just relentless and doesn't do much. So it was quite organic. I like did a lot of arrangements and kind of just sending it back and forth with Guy, and it was but yeah, I can't take away from what Kai came up with that main sound. We were messing around with other things and it wasn't quite working, and Guy went, listen to this, and I was like, oh my god. And then I said, let's just use that and not do much else with it, like just keep it, you know, just just evolving the same thing, same sound, but just evolving, you know.
This is from
It's amazing.
I mean, if you put that in, like you're saying, in floor peak time, it's just people go insane, madly insane.
The other side of that, Free Love, has actually done a lot better. A lot better actually. It's kind of
really?
Yeah, but
it's punch. I remember it's
punchier. It was Bedrocking was number 2 in the charts, and Free Love was number 3. But now it's taken over, I think, in sales. The Free Love is just like everybody keeps kind of coming back to it and buying it.
But that EP is having that play the hell of the both tracks, right?
Yes,
but Bedrocking for me was that the hypnotic.
Yeah.
That's the word, hypnotic.
That's my favorite kind of music. Like, just not much happens, but what does happen is good.
How do you start with a track?
Oh, it can be an idea of a vocal. I like a lot of vocals in my tunes. It could just be, I could be listening to something else and that could inspire me. There's so many different ways, but normally, and I shouldn't really say this, normally what I do is I get a lot of alcohol and I listen to a ton of tunes, and then I go and hit a keyboard and see what happens. And like, you know, I might have like, I'm forever just singing into my phone. Maybe it's not actually words, maybe it's bass line ideas. So like I can go to my phone and I've got like 30 different ideas. So I'll go and listen to something I've done. And like it drives my wife crazy. I can just be sitting watching TV and then all of a sudden go, oh my God, and then into my phone. And then like, she's like, what the f are you doing? And then, so I've got like hundreds and hundreds of voice notes. I'm constantly on my phone or writing notes about ideas. If I'm on a train and I can't like speak into my phone, I'll write a ton of notes and then come back. So my inspiration happens when I'm not really listening to music. Like I just kind of, it pops into my head. It always has done. And then I come back home, I get a lot of alcohol. I spend one night getting very drunk, putting loads of ideas, maybe too many. And then when I'm sober, I'll spend the rest of, the time sober, sorting out the mess.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what. Don't wait to inspire. Yeah, we have to send you some mezcal, man.
Yeah.
Mezcal's my favorite drink.
Hey!
Mezcal margarita, or just mezcal on its own. Favorite drink.
You should try.
Anthony Papa just brought me a beautiful bottle back from Mexico when he was there recently. And then him, me, and Faux Play started a tune together, and we drank the whole bottle in one night.
No,
yeah, we were hammered. We were like all bouncing off the walls. It was pretty extraordinary.
We have to refill that bottle. We do have to refill that.
And
bottle,
what about the hangover?
Yeah, let's not talk about the hangovers. Let's just talk about the good bits.
We can put that in the studio. How do you cope with a hangover? Yeah.
Okay, take a note with this recipe. Mezcal, tonic, and a couple of olives. You're gonna love it.
What?
You're gonna love it, mate.
Okay, I'm going to try that next time.
Mezcal, tonic, and a couple of olives.
What's the name of that?
Mezcal tonic.
Mezcal tonic?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna love it, mate.
I love a margarita, and a mezcal margarita is amazing. And then then with the olives, it's called a dirty oh no, that's a martini. Anyway, but yeah, mezcal is my favorite drink. If I can have any mezcal cocktail, I'll always go for the mezcal cocktail. Because also you don't have to drink so much after a few of those. You can slow down. So
Yeah, that's correct. So when you're coming next to Mexico, trust me, you'll have your bottle.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to be
Yeah.
so thirsty.
Yeah, so-
Almost the
can we
weekend.
have some mezcal, please?
Yeah. Tell us.
It's already 12 it's already 6 p.m. in the UK, so it's legal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
legal
Yeah,
because
it's
in
legal
UK,
now,
yeah.
It's almost 7:00. Yeah.
Yeah, it's legal now to do it.
I've got a big weekend this weekend. It's my birthday, so I'm not drinking. So I know
congratulations.
it's going to
Happy
be.
birthday.
It's on Friday, so I'm going to be drinking a lot this weekend.
Oh, congratulations, man. Well,
Yeah.
respect and all the best.
Crispy sound.
That crispy thickness, I think it's
Oh,
big time.
yeah, totally big time track.
Mine up.
I really like that kind of rough sound, but at the same time like a calculator sound.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that lead line, I think that you press the key, so it just goes, it just has that little, the attack, it's
Yeah.
like,
But
Made?
the moving bass line is amazing. Yeah.
Luke, tell us about this one.
So this is Filling Space. I think it's coming out not until September. I think August, September. And this is me on my own.
Okay.
It's a very rare me on my own tune because I like working with other people. But I've started doing a lot more on my own this year. And I just found the vocal and I absolutely fell in love with it. And then I came up with found the lead but the vocal for me is what it's all about. And I wanted to do something with old school break, like in the back of, so the drums are kind of quite breaky in the drums. So yeah, it's me on my own.
Wow, and who created the vocals? You said that you found the vocal and the lead line. Which instrument did you use? Which synth?
I can't remember. I got
What sound have sounds like
Yeah,
super.
it is a great sound. Yeah.
I made it. I made it probably like I finished it at the beginning of the end of last year. So I'd have to get the project up.
How much time it took you to make this tune?
It took me to get the initial idea of it. It was a drunken night on my own, so it took me probably it took me probably about 8 hours, and then to flesh it out took me probably another 2 days.
Wow.
So when it's in September, you have a label for this now?
Oh yeah, it's on UV Recordings.
UV Recordings.
The recordings.
Sick, man. Really, really, really sick. It's peak time. I just love this.
Looking forward to be playing this on my
That is,
sets.
for sure, yeah.
Absolutely.
And you heard it here on Track ID.
Do you have a workflow, a special workflow when you're working with Guy Brown, for example?
Well, because he lives in Italy as well, it's like I'll either come up with an idea and send it to him, and I'll play something, and he'll replay it but better and like beautiful, or he will kind of send me something, or he sends me lots of like little ideas, and then I will kind of sometimes take 2 or 3 of his ideas and put them into one idea, but it's not really a there's not one set way of doing something. It varies like vastly almost every time we work together. But Guy Barone, working with Guy Barone is a bit special because he's working with, like, everyone's special but in their different ways. They're like got talents, and Guy Barone, just for pure emotion, you don't get much better. Like, he really feels it when he's playing. You can see when he does his piano videos, he's like, he's not putting it on, that's him. So it's working with him varies on how we do things. Normally I'll come up with some ideas, or he'll send me some ideas, and then we'll just go back and forth and kind of bounce ideas off with each other. he'll probably delete a lot of my ideas, and I go, yeah, your ideas are good. um,
Okay.
but it's it's a lovely, and I've been working with him for years, so it's a good relationship, and he's doing really, really well now, which he deserves. He's starting to play out a lot. He's starting to get the recognition he deserves, and if anyone does deserve it, it's him.
That's what we're saying before the interview. It's that
Yes.
sometimes we believe that he can be a little bit underappreciated, but he's a machine, a talent machine, really.
Yeah, well, he's
Yes.
doing sometimes 11 or sometimes 6 to 7 remixes a month, and it's like, wow.
What's that about that? Huh.
There's a lot.
I just did 8 projects in the last kind of 2 months, and that sent me crazy.
My God.
Hey, look, and finally, now that we are seeing your studio, your setup, your plugins and everything, do you incorporate the debatable AI into any of your workflows, or it's off the floor?
No, I haven't yet. What I have done is like ChatGPT can tune vocals. So I had a vocal that was slightly out of tune. I tried to tune it myself. I didn't know what was going on, and it wasn't working. I put it in ChatGPT, it tuned it straight away, and then I shoved it into the thing. So I've used it as a tool, and I have no problem with AI to a point. After a point, it kind of, when it's making music and you're not doing anything, then it's soulless. There's no, you're just doing something for recognition and not for the love, and that's when it's just pointless. But I'm not, people can do what they want to do. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. I'm still going to do exactly what I want to do. And until it puts me out of a job, I don't really care.
Yeah. Sorry. In this current era with the melodic techno, progressive house, and all that kind of genres, what kind of advice do you have for those young producers in Mexico?
Sorry, repeat the question again. Sorry.
Yeah, what kind of advice do you have for that young producers here in Mexico or around the world to find that kind of signature sound that makes a different the feeling for their tracks? Because sometimes when these young producers start to making their own beats or grooves, I don't know you guys, but it feels like all sounds like the same.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have an advice for it?
Well, I personally, every time I go to make a tune, I don't know if you notice, almost all my tunes sound very different to the last tune I made.
Yeah.
And I just, I think you just don't obviously listen to what's going on and what's current, but when you get into the studio, just follow what you want to do, and there's no mistakes, there's no bad or wrong, there's just progression, and if you keep on at it and refine it and really kind of listen to what it's important to know what's current, and but then also kind of put your own slant on it. I do stuff that sounds like it still could come out 20 years ago, but it's still got a current sound to it. So it's kind of, my advice is just like practice, and not do it for any other reason than the love of the music. Because as soon as you start kind of trying to copy other things, that's when it all starts the same. You can hear like a big tune will come out with a big riff that goes massive, and then for the next year, you've just got the big riff going like in the top 10 of like the melodic techno charts, and it's just a shame because there's so much more synths, and you could just sit there like I did, the whole weekend, just coming up with new sounds, and and it's making your own sounds is really good fun once you get into it. It takes time, but to do anything properly, it takes time.
And how can you describe your sound? I mean, your personal signature.
I don't know if I have a personal signature. Like everything sounds very different to the last tune I made. It's all dance music, but it's I've done some kind of houseier stuff, and I've done like real progressive stuff. I've done some techno-y tin stuff. I've I never really, I never want to kind of be put into one pocket or genre, or kind of, I want to be able to kind of, that's why I've done Suicide Sports Club. That's why I've done Tokyo Fan Club. Tokyo Fan Club is like synthwave, and Suicide Sports Club was rock, and I've done like
Uh-huh.
hip hoppy type tunes, and I've done, I can never really concentrate too long. I get bored very quickly if I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's just it's a lot more fun trying everything and then bringing, it into one being.
That's what we were discussing yesterday, remember?
Well,
That
yeah,
it's amazing that you can move from house to prog to melodic to deep house to then to to a tougher house, and it sounds like he kind of, I guess it sounds like you because you have, I think you have your low end, it's like
yeah,
chunky, it's always chunky, it's
Yeah.
always moving, it's grooving.
it's contundent.
I like things quite dirty and not polished too much. I like it when there's
Yeah,
a few mistakes left in, and I like it when there's kind of, the mix isn't too perfect. It's just like, I've been working with someone recently, and they're like very clinical with their mixes, and I'm like, no, we don't, like, just have the kind of roughness around the edges.
Yeah,
It sounds, it brings it back to how it kind of, and especially around the bottom, if you've kind of got like, some kind of like weird stuff going on that shouldn't really be there, sometimes work's a treat.
yeah, your sound, I can say it's a raw, it's processed, but at the same time it has a, but it's in the, it's a contrary thing. It's in some process that makes it tough but chunky. But in all your tracks, it
Yeah.
really, it really gets moving. It's not like, I would say it's not like a perfect polish sheens. No, it's something that makes it organic.
yeah.
That makes it organic and makes it
I
it
think the
thump in your
vibe.
chest.
I think the vibe and the feeling of a tune is a lot more important than the maths of a tune.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you ask me to describe his sound, I can say it's constantly evolving with a nice drive groove. I can
Nice.
say, yeah. For me, I have this perception of your sound.
Amazing.
So it's
It's
for
nice
me.
to hear.
This,
I don't really hear what people think of my music. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like, it's nice to hear.
it's always a new look. It's, I must listen and must play.
yeah,
Always,
yeah,
always, always,
yeah,
always.
absolutely.
And and the curveball is you don't know where it's going to fit because you have to listen to it because it may go houseier, it may go prog, it may go
Yeah.
melodic, it changes. So it's a really great thing to see how you do not, you're not a constant thing. So you are, like you're saying, changing always your sound. So it's always
Yeah.
keep people guessing what's next.
Yes.
The tune I just did with Faux Play is just kind of a perfect summary of what I love, where it's just really techno, or kind of like this house techno kind of style, where not much goes on. It's just like a hi-hat will come in, or a tweak of a bass line, and then like, a ride comes in, and then all of a sudden it just kind of goes into this, and it's got a really dirty techno bass line. Then all of a sudden it just kind of breaks into this beautiful All I Need air kind of vocal, and with amazing pads, and then goes straight back into being dirty again. I kind of like that juxtaposition between beautiful and dirty.
Amazing, amazing. And look, now that we're seeing this, that you just said, I rather like the idea more than the math.
Yeah,
You have
the
sent,
vibe.
had the vibe, yeah, the vibe. You have sent countless demos to labels. I'm gonna focus on John, on Bedrock, because of the pillar he is. But do you think there is a golden rule in terms of how do you pitch a track to a label? Do you have to do a technical perfection, or is it, or do you think it's the originality of the idea? What do you think it is?
I get turned down more than I get signed, to be honest. So it's I like, I'm signed to every label: Crosstown Rebels, Subbeat, Renaissance, Lost and Found, Defected, Bedrock. So I'm signed to, like, I've done like all the big labels. But I think one, it's the mood of the person you're sending the tune is in. So you could send a tune to somebody, they could be in a bad mood and go, nah, don't like this one day. And then they could be like really happy one day and then go, oh, I love this. So, there's so many factors to factor in, but, you should, if you've got a good idea, and if you've heard the tune a million times and you're still, this is a good idea, then just send it and send it to everybody, because you're going to get turned down. Lovely Day, when I did Lovely Day, I sent it to 46 labels. I got turned down by everyone.
Oh my
And then
God.
Digweed, I was in Miami and Digweed when I want it. So, it's like, and then it went on to EMI, picked it up, and then it went on to be a big hit. It was number one in the Billboard charts, but 46 labels didn't want it beforehand. So it's just, if you're 100% sure that you love it, and then have the confidence to send it, but don't just send it to one or two labels. You have to send it to loads of labels, because one person might not be in the right mood, or it might not be right for that label, or there's so many factors to factor in. It's just be confident, but don't be be true to yourself and listen to your tune and make sure that it's good. Like really I can really kind of go, no, that's shit what I've done, and I won't send. I've got that switch where I'm more critical on myself than anyone else could be.
Chunky, groovy.
Chunky, claro.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, chunky. How do you like your peanut butter? Chunky.
It's like his signature,
That's greedy, raw baseline, yeah.
Yeah, I really like those like incidental sounds
Yeah, the vocal, yeah.
when the vocals going. Wow, I can feel. Ooh, wait. Hold
Jesus,
your
a ver.
horses.
Jesus.
Abundance. Tell us about this, please, Luke.
It's the owner from UV Records, which are like killing the charts at the moment. They're like a relatively newish label. It's Paul Thomas and Maze 28. It's their tune, but it's my remix on my own. And I've just taken, you'll hear at the end, they've got like this Sachery expander sound that comes in at the end and it's at the beginning. And I've used that to bookmark, and then I've written a kind of whole new tune in between it. So it's and I wanted to do something that was just a little bit different. So I wanted to do something different with the bass lines rather than your typical bass lines. So
yeah, you said that. Definitely, it fits in the middle of a Sasha's set.
No, in a Digweed set also. It kind of gives you a vibe of Close Your Eyes. The Close Your Eyes. They said
yeah.
That gives me a vibe of Close Your Eyes.
This is massive.
Super amazing.
Yeah, everyone's going crazy about this at the moment. Papa's been caning it. John Digweed's got it, and that's it. It's not going to be. This is released at the end. This is released June the 19th.
June the 19th.
Okay.
It's a must-have also. all the tunes we've been listening to today, it's must-have, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
Abundance only for you guys. Keep an eye on this in Track ID Mexico.
So I guess that brings me to because we've been speaking with some of, if you've seen the podcast, we have spoken with many other artists, and some other people say that they prefer to create a track specifically for the label's sound rather than do this general approach when you send to if you send it to everybody, but the track is good and you send it to everybody. Some other artists like to send a track specifically for the label because it's in their sound.
Yeah. I will make the track first. I won't make a track for a label. It wouldn't even enter my mind. I'll make a track and then go, what labels could this be good for? And then I will kind of, whether it's Ninja Tune or Anjuna or Bedrock, if it's that style, then I'll kind of, go through all the tunes that are in that style, see what labels they're on, and then I'll send it to those specific labels.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I have an anecdote remembering all those labels you're signing your tracks with, and I remember when we were ending pandemic,
Mhm.
I went to play out from Mexico City in San Luis Potosí here in Mexico, and I played one of your tracks, signed on Cruston Rebels. I see
Yeah.
color.
I see
I see,
color. Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
and
did that with Tim Nolan. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
I remember I was playing that track, and suddenly I see this girl start crying in the middle
Oh,
of the breakdown. And she start crying and crying, crying, and talking with her friend that says, this is amazing. That the girl
wow.
were really amazed about your track.
That's
Congratulations!
amazing to
It
hear.
is a great tune.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow.
yeah. This girl was crying and crying.
Oh, that's
I'm
fantastic.
still feeling the goosebumps.
Talk about goosebumps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about goosebumps. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing hearing stuff like that, and it's amazing what the effect. It always blows my mind the effect your music can have on people. Because normally I don't think about it. Um, so when you hear about it or see it happening, it's amazing. It kind of
I,
brings you back home.
I call it immortality, mate.
Nice.
Congratulations.
I
Well,
like
Nice.
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, the industry can be exhausting. How do you stay inspired after more than 20 years?
Mm.
And what habits should have a new DJ or producer, um, to ensure they have a long career, rather than just a
Yeah.
couple of years,
I mean, I kind of try to not think about the industry around me. I just want to make music and play some records. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I just like, I'm lucky now because I have a name. So I kind of get a bit more. I kind of get a bit more leeway. People kind of accept me a bit quicker, But that's because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, you worked your ass off. Yeah.
It's just about kind of standing your ground, but knowing when you're wrong or right, and just kind of not kind of listening to the noise that comes from, not some of it's lovely, there's parts of the industry that are fantastic, there's lovely people and labels that really look after you, but a lot of it is ego and and drug fueled, and it's just kind of like, you need to kind of be your own person, step away, do exactly what you want, and know your worth, because a lot of people kind of just are like, please, and it's just like, fuck that. It's just know your worth and kind of stick up for yourself and just kind of battle your way through it.
Yeah.
And talking about all of this, how do you manage your socials and all this digital world?
Digital noise.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really bad at my socials. Like, even my numbers on on Facebook, I've got good numbers, but no one uses Facebook anymore. But like on like all the others, I kind of post once a month if I have to, like maybe twice at the most, and then like making videos. Hi guys, it's just like, oh, it makes me sick, but you have to do it. And I get in trouble like from other labels and agents and stuff, like telling me that you have to do it. So
You have to push your
and
socials.
the more I've been doing it, it's getting a little bit easier. And I'm sure at some point I'll kind of like, I should have, but I really haven't pushed my social side of it at all. Like hardly at all. Like when I've got a release, I've got something to speak about, but then I kind of catch myself then just posting about buying speakers and stuff, and no one wants to hear about me buying bloody speakers.
I do.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I always
Yeah.
looking to new equipment, new gear, and everything.
Yeah.
I love to do that. Yeah. Do you-
But I've been doing more of that recently. I will start doing some live streams soon, once I got my head around like the new equipment.
Mhm.
I just want to be able to kind of know exactly what I'm doing all the time. On the V10 was a little bit different, and I've been producing so much, I haven't had much time this year to kind of, I've practiced before gigs and stuff, but I've just not really had time to sit down and go through every single little element bit by bit.
And what about a new artist? I mean, like you said, you don't have the time, and you're doing it just a little by little, but you have a long and established and estimated career, a really esteemed career.
Yeah.
So what about the new artists that they're just starting? I mean, but it's something that we have discussed sometimes, that, well, I don't know. I think it also happens because I think Anthony Papa told us, but somewhere around the world, clubs and labels are pushing, like you're saying, some artists to have a huge digital footprint, a huge
Yeah.
socials, in order to get them signed and in order to get them to play gigs.
I would say stay away from those places.
That's
Just
such a
just stay away from it.
that's
You
such a
don't like,
bliss.
if you want to be doing it like that kind of side of the music industry has got nothing to do with me whatsoever. I just don't. It doesn't register for me, and it's a toxic. It's
Respect.
it's just stay away from it, because it's it's going to make you feel inadequate and insecure and horrible about yourself, and you're better than that.
And finally, for those producers who, I mean, they're like nerds like me, that but I don't produce that much anymore. So, but they like to stare all morning or all day to DAW and just producing without getting to know the dance floor. Do you think it's really important for them to become a DJ first and then a producer, or it's who cares?
No, I'm working with a guy called Tape Tomorrow. This guy Jorgen from Norway, and he's never DJ'd, and he makes incredible music. It's almost like
Wow.
what we're making, but Fred again type thing, a mixture between what I'm doing and Fred again.
Oh
So
wow.
we've just actually done a couple of tunes together that are coming out. He actually had something on Music to Die For, and I A&R'd helped him kind of get his stuff kind of a bit more dance floor ready. And now we're working together. He comes over to London. He's been here like 2 or 3 times now, and we work together a lot. And but he never had seen a dance floor. When I heard his music, it was like, wow. And then when he told me he wasn't DJing, I was shocked, because it was it's normally the other way around.
Ah, but does he? I mean, imagine he has experience clubbing, and he knows the dance floor a little
Yeah.
bit. He's been on the floors one
So
way
I
or
don't
another.
think that being a DJ first is necessarily necessary, but it's but it helps for sure, but it's definitely not necessary.
Okay.
Amazing.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, I just love how you stand. Like you mentioned, you stand your ground, stay away from that, and do what's most important. The music
Yeah.
is there. Has to be
Yeah.
the music.
Absolutely.
Oh, come on! I'm out of here. Yeah. It sounds familiar to me. It sounds familiar.
It's a massive tune.
What is this? We kind of heard this before.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a Josh Wink. How's your evening so far?
How's your evening so far?
Paul, it's and it's by Paul Thomas and Das Sparrow. It's a bootleg that they've done that no one's really got, and it's my secret weapon to play in.
Wow.
What a tune! I love this tune.
It's so great that bringing this out to the public, so they can be on the lookout for this, right? When it drops into a set. Man, so good.
Jesus.
So it's been doing massive. I can imagine, right?
It's not released. No one's got this. It's like it's a cheeky tune that no one's going to be able to get, unfortunately. So
Wow.
What a track! I love this track. It's such a classic, and you just made this revival, and it is amazing. Wow!
Oh, it's a bang.
Yeah.
I remember that sound, of course.
Look at this. I love this
Gonna
drum.
go into overdrive. When was the last time you played this?
I played this about a month ago.
And
it
how did it go?
it destroys the dance floor. It just because it's not far from the original. It's just updated to be kind of a bit more pumping, and it's ridiculous. It's one of my favorite tunes at the moment.
Wow, so good.
Yeah.
So good, man. Thanks for sharing this. This is a track ID, and this is a secret weapon. And
Yeah.
you heard it first here on Track ID Mexico.
So,
We arrived to that time of the interview.
ladies and gentlemen, we are arriving into our favorite section.
The Desert,
Desert
Island
Island
Discs.
We love this section because,
Everybody gets nervous.
yeah.
And not everybody can pass the test.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're gonna move to an island, desert island, and you can carry on only with 5 records.
Yeah.
Can be compilations, full
EPs,
albums,
tracks,
whatever.
You decide.
That makes it easier.
Uh-huh.
Well, music for airports, number
Yeah,
one.
I knew you were
I
gonna
can
say
listen to
yeah.
that non-stop for hours and hours and hours. Wow, this is really difficult. Okay, so like music for airports, I would definitely have like some David Bowie. in
Yes.
there, you
Which
know.
one? Hunky Dory.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's Hunky Dory. It's Hunky Dory.
What would you
yeah.
have?
I would have for Bowie.
Yeah,
I would say I would say Hunky Dory. For me,
Yeah.
it's his. For me, I mean, it's I can listen all day to Life in Mars.
I'd maybe have the best of my favorite on
Yeah.
a compilation. Okay,
Okay,
so
okay.
like, I could pick and choose and put them on a compilation, but stuff like you know changes and you know all of that. It's music for sat. That's how you know I See Color. I took that idea from one a David Bowie tune. It's the Color in Motion, or I can't remember the name of. You know the tune I mean. So
Whoa.
I was listening to that and I was like, I want to do something like around that idea. Other albums, Air, The Moon Safari, I love.
Oh, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Absolutely amazing.
So that's 3. What's more recent stuff? I mean, I love The Strokes. I love that
Oh,
album.
okay.
Is This It?
This Is It.
Is a
This Is It, yeah.
fantastic album.
Rocking stuff.
And I might have like what's the Renaissance, the Sacha and Digweed.
Oh, yes.
The first one, the first
Yeah.
compilation,
Yeah.
the
So
classic.
that's 5.
Yeah, that's 5.
Okay.
He did
He
it.
did it. Yeah.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah.
Not everybody. Yeah. Quick.
There's so many now.
Okay.
I'm thinking of it. There's so many more albums that keep popping into my head. So it's like, you know, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
did it pretty well. I think there is a lot of different kind of music in it, so you will survive in that island.
brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
and some quick ones.
Yeah, the quick ones.
The Cure or New Order?
Ooh.
Cure.
The Cure?
Yeah. I had the Cure, the guitarist from the Cure played on the My Black Dog on Suicide Sports Club. That's the guitarist from the Cure.
Oh, okay.
And I love, I like New Order, but only a few of them. The Cure, I love like almost everything, like you know, so much more. So
I thought you were going to say New Order.
no, definitely the Cure.
Okay, best food in the world.
Italian.
Amico
That's
guy,
no,
Barone.
yeah,
Ajá.
Italian or it's a cross between Caribbean and Italian, one or the other.
Okay.
Okay.
I like
Which-
pasta for me. I was brought up on pasta, so
Okay, so it makes sense. Makes total sense. Yeah. Mhm. Which 80s track you wish you had created or remixed?
is it Billy Idol? Eyes Without a Face.
Face.
Is that-
Ooh.
yeah.
And it's getting such a revival right now. It's
Yeah.
in every single show they're playing it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
why like it's so good. Just everyone is
It
still
did,
kind
really.
of is still brilliant. Like now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a masterful tune.
Best movie ever made that you wish to be the director.
Oh man, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Oh,
Goodfellas.
fantastic.
Nice
We
one.
like the gritty drama. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
And
I love sci-fi like Dune and Blade Runner and stuff like that. But
Ooh, yeah.
Goodfellas I've watched like a million times.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Christopher Nolan's amazing as well.
Christopher Nolan's a
I
good
just saw the I know that the Odyssey is coming out. So
It's coming in a couple of months. Yeah. I'm really excited to see that one.
Yeah, me too.
Really, we have to see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
We have to see it in IMAX. Analog or digital?
More digital.
Okay.
It's just more easy and more scope.
It's
So I
easier.
love my analog, but you know the decks are digital. This is all digital. You know, I'm only using 2 synths, so the sound of analog great, but if I'm going to choose digital,
Okay. Musical guilty pleasure.
The Macarena.
Oh.
I was going to say Billie Eilish, but I know Foplay said Billie Eilish. But yeah, Billie Eilish, I absolutely I love. I don't think it's really much of a guilty pleasure though. She's
No. She's
pretty
super.
cool.
I totally
Right.
agree. She's
I
super
think
talented.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like lots of cheesy music as well. Like I can listen to kind of anything and like it. Like I really don't hate much music. It kind of I can like laugh at it and that makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not laughing at the like in a bad way, but it just makes me smile and you know, it's like that's silly, but it's great.
If you have
So
the cheesier track that you can mention, which one
it's
would
like
be?
something by ABBA, like Super Trooper by ABBA or something. You know,
Norm
like,
H would be
and
Norman
I'm
would be proud.
and I'm not ashamed to say it. I stand by it.
Well, if you see our interview with Norman, one of his Desert Island records is ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my guilty pleasures too. So.
Dancing Queen is a bit.
I must be bad because I don't even find that very guilty. I kind of
No, it's great.
so
Yeah, it's great.
good.
Yeah. There is only 2 kinds of music: the good
It's
one
good and
and the bad
bad.
one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And look,
I don't even think it's bad music. I just think it's just not our taste. You know, there's just somebody
Yeah.
loves it somewhere. So it's just, you know, I don't even think it's good and bad. It's just subjective.
Yes.
I guess that's
Yes.
correct.
Yeah.
And look, what's in the future for you? What are you aiming in the coming years? What's the direction for Luke Brancaccio?
I want to make more music. I want to do another album. I'm quite comfortable where I am at the moment. It's kind of, you know, I'm doing, you know, all right. So it's I don't ever want to get like too famous or whatever. I'm quite happy where I am. But just making more music and just kind of being able to make more music. That's the good thing. It's like being happy. As long as I'm happy making music and as long as I'm able to and I can still kind of live, then it's great.
And how do you want to be remembered?
I don't know. I don't think about things like that. As somebody that was nice.
A great
kind.
Luke, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See the attitude is everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you yesterday, for sure.
Yeah. We were talking about this and and you were beyond our expectations, and thank you for that.
No, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
Luke, can you share? I mean, you say you don't do a lot of digital, but can you for the people for the people that do not follow you, what are your socials? Where can they find you? Where can they know about you, projects, gigs, and everything?
Well, I'm still like back in the Stone Ages, and I use Facebook, my artist page on Facebook, Luke Brancaccio. That's where I kind of do most of my stuff. And then I've started trying to do more on Instagram. Just type in Luke Brancaccio and it'll come up. And I very recently did TikTok, but I don't know what I'm doing yet on there. I have no idea how that works. I've just posted a few videos on there, and then I'm on SoundCloud, I'm on Mixcloud. So yeah, you just type my name into any of those and I'll be the first to come up.
Perfect. Look, all that we can say, it's been an amazing chat. It really was eye opener. It was so fun, really down to earth. I mean, you are a super human being. You're a great
thank
guy,
you.
really. We had an idea of this based on the previous conversations that we had, but like Mappy was saying, this was beyond what we were expecting.
Oh,
Really,
man,
we
that's
are
so lovely.
thrilled, and we really
I was quite nervous at the beginning, and thank you very much. It's been a
no,
pleasure.
no. Like I told you, you're between friends. We do this because we love the music, and we try to look after our guests, and also we also want to have people that are passionate, really in love with their music, and really in love with their craft. So that's the reason you're here with us, because your talent is beyond words, and your personality is also light years away. It's amazing, really. Thank you for
Oh,
being here.
amazing. No, pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, when we start this project together, as we said, and all the people who follow us know, everything starts in a bar, in a bar, talking in a bar, you know.
Yeah.
And we are trying, making our best effort to be talking like friends in a bar. And
Yeah. Well, it feels like that. It's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
and I just want to say thank you, because this episode is was a chat between friends.
Yeah.
And you are an amazing person. You are a professional from the A to the Z, and thank you for that.
It's been my pleasure, and you guys have been great.
By
We
the way,
got a bit emotional there.
no, thank you. No, thank you. No,
We all
we don't say this. I mean, we had some experiences, but really, you're a superb guy. Really, we
Thank you
appreciate
very
having the time and opening up to us, your stories and everything. So,
Fantastic.
by the way, you're going to Balance?
yeah.
I am gonna go to Balance, yeah. And we've been, so I'll be there for
So
sure.
I don't know how we're gonna take that many mezcal bottles, but we'll see you there for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
Because
looking forward to it.
we're owing mezcal to everybody now.
So I don't know what we're gonna do to carry on with boxes and
Yeah,
boxes.
and I'm scared because
You
if
just have
we hang out,
one change of clothes.
yeah, that's right. And if we hang out with Anthony and him and Fox Play, it's gonna last us 5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, thank you, Luke. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you very
take
much
care,
for this.
guys.
Matthew, pues,
Ay, ¿qué les puedo decir, amigos? Estoy con las manos sudando. Todavía sigo, sí, chinito, tal cual.
los goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Exacto.
No me queda más que decir muchas gracias. Ha sido un episodio fantástico.
La verdad, sí, de los más padres, de la verdad, de los que
Sí.
más me ha emocionado.
Sí, ha sido muy emocional y la plática ha sido súper creativa y súper así. Es de esas pláticas que no tienes que ser ni el que lleva 50 años en el rave o el que acaba de empezar. O sea, es una plática que te llega.
De brothers.
Claro.
Plática de brothers.
Así es.
Así es, mentes. Pues bueno, no nos queda más que agradecerles a todos. Recuerden, suscríbanse, denle like y suscríbanse en el orden que quieran. La campanita, como saben, estamos disponibles en todos los canales. Estamos en nuestro canal de YouTube, estamos en Instagram, estamos en Amazon Music, estamos en Apple Music, en Spotify con los podcasts, @TrackID México. ¿Vale? Entonces, para Track ID, soy Pepe Camil.
Y Mapiu.
Nos vemos.